Alright, so today I want to do just a short little video. I actually wanted to let you know that I'm going to be at the Colorado Springs Reptile Show today, the day that this video posts, which is actually Saturday, September 25th, 2021. So if you actually see this video pop up in your YouTube feed, I'm actually going to be heading to the Colorado Springs Reptile Show. So if you're actually in the local area, it'd be pretty cool if you could swing by. I think the admission is like $10 to get in the door, and kids under a certain age are free. I'm actually not going to have a table. I won't be selling any snakes or anything, and I probably won't have Bobby with me. I think I'll leave Bobby home because it's just going to be me and a camera kind of walking around the show. And kind of the neat part about the reptile shows, what I actually like to do, I like to go through all the different tables and kind of highlight different animals that are really unique. I usually pick up like the really big reticulated pythons or the Burmese pythons. I get those on camera and then I'll roll those into a separate video, so stay tuned for that. That's always a good time looking for really interesting and unique animals at some of these reptile shows. And let me tell you, when it comes to some of those snakes, like the big blood pythons, I've actually almost been bit by some of those really crazy snakes trying to pick them up and do videos of them at the reptile shows. I haven't been bit yet, so hopefully it'll be okay picking up some of those crazy snakes. Another thing I want to do at the reptile show, actually I am on the hunt for some African soft fur rats. And I used to have African soft furs. I think I sold them all about 4 years ago. And at the time, I was actually kind of comparing the African soft furs to my regular Norway rats, the common rat that everybody breeds for feeders for ball pythons and other snakes. And if you actually look at the growth difference between the African soft furs and the regular rats, let me tell you, the regular rats grow and reproduce so fast compared to the African soft furs. The African soft furs are almost like pet rodents or something like that, almost like pet gerbils, I'd say, you know, as far as the growth rate on those. And kind of the interesting thing about African soft furs is they're actually listed, I think they're still listed on the Lacey Act, where it's against the law to transport them across state lines. So it's kind of problematic with the African soft furs. So for example, if you actually lived in a state where nobody's breeding African soft fur rats, technically they can actually go extinct in your state. And transporting from out of state into your state to, you know, to kind of replenish the breeding operation of the African soft furs is against the law, which is kind of crazy. So it really depends on some of the local breeders to keep up with breeding the African soft furs. The other thing that's kind of interesting too is here in Colorado, for some reason, they are really super controlled. So every time you buy them or sell them, you actually have to fill out a form, and then they take that form and give it to the government, and they track the sale and transfer of African soft fur rats, which is pretty crazy. And I think what the thinking is if you actually take an African soft fur rat and you flip them over and look at the belly, they have more teats on the bottom to support more offspring. And the idea is that they can reproduce faster than a regular rat. But let me tell you, if you put them side by side, let me tell you, they do not reproduce faster than a regular rat. And one of the reasons I wanted to get the African soft furs is I actually want to take some African soft fur offspring that are born the same time as your regular rats, and kind of take a short little video every single day and kind of compare them side by side as far as the growth rate, African soft furs versus regular rats. And let me tell you, you will be surprised at how much faster a regular rat will grow from a tiny little rat pup all the way to an adult versus an African soft fur. It's pretty amazing. I haven't actually seen anything like that over on YouTube. It'll be a pretty interesting experiment. The other thing I want to do is I'm kind of running really low on the coconut husk for my reptiles here. I use like a coconut husk chip substrate for all my ball pythons, and I'm down to like 2 blocks, which isn't really enough to do anything. As a matter of fact, I'll probably buy like 10 blocks going to the reptile. So if I can find a really good price. Normally I buy a whole pallet full of the Pro Coco, and I say 10 blocks will last me maybe about 2 months, so it'll give me a little bit more time before I have to buy another whole pallet of the coconut husk. So it should be a pretty interesting time, and I think this is the very last reptile show of the year here in 2021. I don't think there's any more reptile shows, so it's kind of like the tail end. I don't think I'll be buying any ball pythons right now. I'm trying to figure out, you know, what I can hold back. As a matter of fact, I have like 10 holdbacks and I'll have 8 tubs left here in my collection, so I have to figure out what I'm going to hold back and what I'm going to sell as far as my own personal collection. But maybe next year I'll be buying into a new project. So it should be pretty fun. I'll probably show up, I'd say anywhere between 10 and noon, and I'll probably hang out for a few hours, just kind of checking it out, maybe pick up some African soft furs and some coconut husk blocks and just kind of check out the tables and just kind of chat away. And I don't think it's that big of a show. As a matter of fact, I look back at the kind of the same building in early spring of 2021. It seemed like they had a lot of room, but there wasn't really that many people, and people were kind of spread out a little bit. And I think what actually happened, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it actually started in a smaller building and just recently moved to a larger building where everyone can kind of space out and they can kind of grow into this newer place. As far as what I've seen, don't hold me on that, but just kind of looking at some of the videos online, it kind of seems like what happened with this show. And a lot of these shows, they keep getting bigger and bigger every year, and they keep moving to different locations and increasing in size, which is pretty awesome. So it should be a pretty good day tomorrow. Hope to see you there. So yeah, it'd actually be today if you're actually looking at this video. So today I will be at the reptile show in just a few hours if you're watching this. So hope to see you there, and I'll see you in the next video.